Hey everyone, good morning. I'm Jennifer Berry with Earth911, and you're here for our last holiday hangout. I'm so sad, but it's going to be a great one. Today we're talking about how to have a greener gathering. How do you get there more economically? How do you make your guests recycle at your party? The whole kit and caboodle. We're pretty festive in the office today because we're having our own gathering. Thanks again, Nana, for this awesome sweater. And to my set decorations, hope you're enjoying our Christmas tree. And my moose mug from yesterday has a hat. So we are going to have some fun today. On the chat with me today is Robin Shreves again from Mother Nature Network. Vandy from Flingsbins, he's a new guest for us. You're totally going to love him. And then, of course, Ms. Nellie Belly, Janelle Hutton, and our resident DIY craft expert. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
I should have sent you all moose mugs. That was really rude of me. I'm sorry. I feel kind of bad about that. So I couldn't memorize this, so I apologize for reading. But I read something really crazy. I want to kick off our gather chat with some more eco-friendly travel discussion. So here's what I have to share, and I think you guys are going to be kind of blown away by this. So believe it or not, one holiday trip can have a larger environmental impact than your whole year of commuting to work. So for a week-long getaway for a family of 4, including a 2,200-mile round-trip flight in first class, so of course maybe a little bit fancier than I would be flying, that produces nearly 12,000 pounds of CO2 emissions, according to a study by the Union of Concerned Scientists. So what I want to kick off with is, what's a better way to get to your family and friends this season? Anybody?
I would think that you know, sometimes the plane is the only option, depending on how far you have to go and how much of a window you have to be away. But trains are also an option. We didn't do one for a holiday, but we took a train. We're outside of Philadelphia. We took the train down to Orlando for our one and only Disney trip with our children. They were told they get one, and that's it. And it was really enjoyable. We had never done that. It was 17 hours. There were other kids on the train. They were able to run around and stretch their legs, and we had downloaded all sorts of movies onto our laptops and our iPads, and the kids liked it a lot more than they thought they were going to. So trains would be another option. Unfortunately, you would think that the train saves you a lot of money, but you have to look for a deal on trains too. It's not that much more or less expensive.
That's really interesting, and you bring up a whole convenience factor of not being like shut up in your car, sandwiched next to your siblings, ready to punch somebody after 4 or 5 hours. At least you can get up and walk around. Yeah. Actually, one of our writers just popped up a new article about greener transportation, and she was saying that if you can, the motor coach or a bus is really actually the most eco-friendly way to go. You can cut your carbon emissions in half by doing that, but of course not everybody has the time for it. So it sounds like the more collectively we can travel, maybe the better, would you say?
Yeah.
All right, so now that we've got that logistical part out of the way, let's talk about the fun part, which is actually parties. What do you guys have to share with us about waste at parties and how we can be better about it?
Well,
we're all jumping.
Go ahead. Oh, all right. Vandy, why don't you go ahead and kick us off then?
Well, sure. I think a lot of it starts with just the basic attitude of what are the holidays about, and staying focused on the family, the friends, the people, the occasion, the fun, the music, the food, and less so on gifting. To the extent there's gifting and entertaining, I think it's being creative in how you decorate, how you gift, how you wrap. There are a lot of interesting substitutes for things that you might buy at a nearby party store or something. And then finally, I think organizing for the trash and recycling that does occur. And I think it's parties can get chaotic. They're oftentimes spur of the moment, and you're not prepared. And if you aren't prepared, you find trash and recycling all over the place. You find it all mixed in together, and in a A plug for Flings bins, which I'll have to put in at some point. Flings are a great thing to have around for the holidays, and you can pop them open whenever a gathering, impromptu gathering occurs.
I think that's really interesting. I always end up being the recycling police at my family parties, which is probably really annoying because, I already work at Earth911. They already know, how much I care about the environment. And my family's great. They'll put up recycling bins and they'll try and label them, but it seems like, I don't know, people just don't take that extra step to take that bottle and put it in the bin. Or is there something else we can do to make it maybe more clear? Like, where's the disconnect?
Well, sometimes we found at Flings that an easy way to help that communication is pairing trash and recycling containers next to each other at different locations around a party. It's amazing how literal you might be with signs and the like, and you think you're pointing people, but they really don't connect it until they see something that's really visual. And like Flings, we have trash patterns and we have recycle patterns. We find that people recycle better when you put it together and they see it as a system. I think another thing you could do is I love training kids on recycling, because the kids can can play the police role, I think, much more graciously than we do.
So you think I've outgrown my role as the recycling regulator?
You
think I should ditch it?
You can appoint or anoint your little recycling ambassadors and have them run around, and they'll do it in a pretty creative, effective way.
All right. I'll go ahead and relinquish my role, Mandy. You convinced me.
But you can still wear the sweater.
Oh, yes. Awesome. That's really what I want to do. So, do you think we should tell our guests that we are trying to have a greener party? What do you guys think about that? Like, sometimes I'm on the fence about sharing that goal or just kind of integrating it into the party and not even calling it out, just letting it be a part of things. What do you think that means, like for your guests or for being successful?
For us, we are not vocal about it, but our home is already very much a recycling home. My 9-year-old son, he collects cans, and that money is his money. He can spend it however he chooses. So parties, he loves parties because he makes a fortune on a party, and all of our guests know that, so they're prepared to give him the cans, and there's not even a question about recycling. They know that's going to happen. But if you have a lifestyle already set in place, when people come into your home, they're going to expect that, and they're going to know that that's what to expect.
I agree. I don't think that you need to be very vocal about it at all. Actually, I think it can be kind of obnoxious to be really vocal about it.
Totally.
Yeah, I think one of the best things is to give them less things that they need to recycle. So there might be cans, there might be bottles, and yeah, some people throw one or two of them in the trash can not thinking, but those are the things that people are really used to recycling. We would try to, in the past, even before I was kind of going green, just to save money, I would ask people to, put the plastic forks and spoons into the sink and the red cups into the sink, and that I'd wash them. And we've totally done away with all that. I've gone to yard sales and I've just bought a ton of cheap silverware, so that when we have a party, we bring it out, none of it matches, it doesn't matter, and nobody's going to throw that in the trash. We have a lot of durable plates, that get washed. Nobody's going to throw those in the trash. So as long as you give them less to recycle, you don't have to give them the responsibility that they have to recycle. I think that's really, and it's nice to have all those things. It makes your party a little more special when people come in and they see that they have actual plates and silverware. And we even do cloth napkins. It depends on how big the party is, though. I don't have enough really nice, clean ones for a large party, and we'll get recycled napkins and, do that. But yeah, give them less to recycle. And don't be nasty about it if somebody throws something in the trash. Just walk by quietly and pick it out and throw it in the recycle.
Actually, my Nana is the fork police at our parties because people forget that they have a metal fork on their plates, and sometimes they do throw them away. And that's really funny and not very fun to dig them out, but we do it willingly. I like that idea a lot, just making it easier, making it clearer, making it simple. what about some cool, beautiful holiday decor ideas? Do you have anything for us, Janelle?
Of course. In keeping with the idea of glasses and dishes, that is a major issue with throwaway, the recycling. Something we do in my home, we have a lot of coffee, especially with desserts and things like that, and coffee mugs constantly get set down and picked up, and new ones get taken out. So most of our guests will get something like this, and it will be a personalized mug. This costs about $1.99 at Target. And this is theirs when they're at my house, and they bring it home with them. I don't want to see it again. And we sometimes go to the thrift store, and we'll get a bunch of those tchotchke, business mugs and do the same thing, and then we can just return them back to the thrift store after we're done. I also will take our wine glasses, and I'll use washi tape, paper clips, something like that to add a little number, and everybody knows which wine glass is theirs. Behind me I have just a coffee can wrapped in tissue paper for flowers, and I think I have an echo. And you can just send that home with everybody. Fresh flowers are great for that.
Maybe everybody turn down their volumes when you're not talking, or put yours on mute. See if that helps out. Sorry, Janelle. You did a great job. I'm really bad with the reverb. Nice work. I didn't even know.
It's kind of weird hearing myself twice. I sound excellent, but
Oh, the technical difficulties of our modern era. So, when we get everybody together, we're all gathered around, we're having a great time. Do you think that anybody is even noticing all these different, ways that we're conserving our trash, or do you think that in a way maybe it's an expectation from, moving forward? Do you think that we've kind of gotten to the point that people don't even think twice about it? Not only are we being gracious, green hosts and hostesses, and maybe not forcing in their faces like Robin was saying, but do you think that people are kind of expecting it now?
I don't know. I think people expect it when they come to our house. I work for Mother Nature Network. They kind of know that we're, a little crunchy, a little green around here. I don't see it a whole lot in some of the other houses I go to yet, though. Recycling, certainly, of cans and bottles and anything to be recycled, but there's a lot of throwaway products. And, hopefully they'll learn from our example without us bashing them over the head with it verbally, and come along slowly.
Yeah. In our work, we see about a third are proactive, and a third are compliant, and a third are clueless.
I like those numbers, Bandy.
Yeah. So I think it's all over the map. I agree.
And why do you think? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that split's happening?
Oh, I think it's just it's a very normal dissemination pattern of knowledge and understanding and persuasion, and it just takes time. But I think the more we each do our pieces, the more people see it, and the more those numbers shift. Those, 5 years ago, I think we would have seen very different numbers from even that, from what I cited.
So it's getting better, even if it's not where maybe we want it to be.
Definitely getting better, but not fast enough.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Janelle, were you going to pop in? Sorry, I saw your window pop up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, too, I think as the time has gone on a little bit here, it's becoming more and more cool, more and more chic to be creative and to be crafty and to think outside the box. It wasn't maybe so much so earlier in decades past, and now it's very cool to reuse items, but we still have to think that way. We still have to be creative. We have to look at those items and say, what else can I do with them? Where in the past we probably wouldn't have. It wasn't looked upon all that great, and now we can have fancy parties that are reusing items and are being creative and upcycling, and that's now very trendy, and hopefully we can keep that going, because that's a great way to be able to resource our recycled goods and things like that.
So basically, we're like the hippest hosts and hostess that there are.
Absolutely.
Basically. Awesome. That's really exciting. I feel super confident about my holiday parties now. Everyone can't wait to come to my house. Well, listen, you guys, I think this was really, really useful. Thanks so much for helping us in these great ideas. Vandy will totally make sure and keep our recycling right next to the trash. Make it easy, make it no-brainer. I'll delegate my responsibilities, and we'll go out and do some thrifting and get some more reusable party supplies, and hopefully have some beautiful reused decor to make everything a little bit more wasteless. And hopefully next year we won't even need to have this talk. It'll be totally ingrained, and everybody will be already on our green train. But in the meantime, thanks everybody for joining us and for hanging out with us this week as we talk about having a greener holiday. And you know, the tips we talked about today, they can last the whole year through, regardless of whether or not you're wearing a crazy Christmas sweater. So I'm Jennifer Berry from Earth911, and you were talking with our friends from Mother Nature Network, Flings Bins, and Ms. Nellie Belly, and wishing you all a warm and happy holiday season. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.